Hey, everybody. Today's episode is a little different. I'm not here to teach you something today. I'm here to share something that I have recently learned about myself. I was recently diagnosed with ADHD, and honestly, it has been one of the most surprising and clarifying experiences of my adult life. So I wanted to bring you into the middle of it. Not the end, not the here's what I figured out and here's the big lesson of this experience. No, I don't know the lessons. I'm getting some new understandings. Some new information is showing up for me. I'm starting to see myself through a very different lens. I don't know any answers yet, but I thought it might be relevant to share that this high performer, this high achiever has a whole new lens, a whole new filter put on herself. And I thought it might be valuable for you to hear. So enjoy the show. So if you had asked me even a couple of years ago if I had ADHD, I would have said no. I thought ADHD looked like sort of the way it's talked about, which is, people bouncing off walls, forgetting things, procrastination, not being able to keep track of time, being forgetful, all of that. And because I'm a high performer, which many of you are, I'm very organized, I'm very driven, and I have no problem starting and finishing things. So to me, in my mind, it just wouldn't have fit. But there were also patterns I couldn't explain. Patterns like hyper focus and then complete crash. Emotional patterns like interpreting mistakes as total failure, terrible sleep, when words or thoughts or songs play over and over and over relentlessly in my head. Emotional intensity, forgetting small things but remembering crazy big things. So the last few years of recognizing or seeing these patterns have been particularly poignant for me because I work from my home office. So most days, unless I'm on site with clients, I'm at home having virtual client meetings and client calls and doing my work on my own. So I started to notice myself more because I didn't have other distractions to take me away from looking at myself. And I noticed that my brain started to feel like it was tripping over itself. It was running so fast, yet getting confused as to where to start or how to organize my thoughts. And if something didn't capture my attention in the first 5 minutes, I would judge it as boring. And this stuff's been kind of going on for years. And I thought either they're just my personality quirks, which, I can laugh at them and they've become jokes between me and my husband. We chuckle sometimes at how my brain trips over itself because it can be entertaining. So maybe they're personality quirks, but also secretly, I kind of feel like they're my personal failures. What led me to get assessed was I was talking to our therapist and I asked her at the end of a session one day, how would someone get assessed for ADHD? And she got this kind of knowing smile on her face, like she had been waiting for me to ask. And I asked her why she responded that way. And she said, well, I'm not a clinician, but you do present as somebody who might have it. And there's a lot more research coming out about adult women that have ADHD and have gotten late diagnoses that it might be worth you exploring. As soon as she said that, there was no question. It was run, don't walk for me. The assessment itself was pretty eye-opening. I will say that it took about a month from start to finish for me. It was a combination of an intake session and a very long intake form with the clinician, and then a 4-hour testing session, which happened in person, which was a combination of colors and numbers and patterns and shapes and math problems from the days of yore. Like Johnny has 6 apples, and if he gives 3 apples to Shelly, how many apples does he have left? But they got progressively more complex as the questions went on. And some of the tests made me want to throw the laptop out the window. The assessment also consisted of interviews with a few close folks. So my husband and a couple of close friends, as well as my therapist. And when I got the diagnosis, it was like the heavens had opened up. It wasn't quite a slam dunk moment because not everything was understood. It felt like though there was sort of an opening of a door that I didn't even know was there. Like, oh, wait, you mean there's a reason that I operate the way that I do? I felt relief. I felt sadness. I felt grief. And the grief, I realized, is about the years that I've spent thinking I was too much or not enough, that I was doing it wrong. That all the times that I had been yelled at or gotten in trouble for slowing down or not, or going too fast rather, and not being able to slow down, they were because of how my brain works. I remember being yelled at as a kid and getting in trouble for moving too quickly through schoolwork, not being able to slow myself down and read instructions. And when they would say, just slow down, all I could think was, how? I literally don't think that's possible. How am I supposed to slow myself down? And I've actually started reading again, like reading real books, not just listening to books. And I have noticed that my brain wants to jump to the bottom of the page so quickly. I will catch one word that will bring me right down to the bottom of the page. I'll realize I've missed some key information and I will have to go back up and read things again. And sometimes I will have to read things out loud slowly so that I actually understand what I'm reading. So when we were kids and we were reading things and having reading assignments, I would miss a lot of information and get not very good grades on some of those quizzes about the books we read because I couldn't remember squat about what I read because I was moving so fast. But once I got that diagnosis, it was like I had on a new pair of glasses, and not just for me, but also for my husband. Now, my husband does not have ADHD. He is methodical. And sometimes it feels like he moves way too slow for me. That's another joke in our house, is that he moves like molasses and I move like gasoline lit on fire. And sometimes that slowness can be frustrating or irritating for me. I can have three different trains of thought at once with him and not realize until it's too late that he hasn't been able to follow me. And it has caused some arguments and some hurt feelings. But once I got that diagnosis, things that used to confuse or frustrate me start to make a little more sense. I've noticed that I've been able to pause myself in moments where I'm feeling irritated by something and just ask myself, like, what's going on here? Why is this so irritating to me? Is it me? Is it how my brain is working? Is it the situation? Is it called for to be irritated? What's going on here? Now, I've only had this diagnosis for about 3 weeks. So, I haven't had that much time to play around with and become more aware of the experiences, but I am trying to be as aware of myself in the moment as I can because I want to notice what's happening for me moment to moment to moment so that I can get curious about where it comes from and that it's not just some sort of wild defect in me and some, counterproductive habit that I've developed over my life. My emotional intensity and my ability to organize and execute things under pressure, but still struggle to organize myself when I have the luxury of time has always been confusing for me. I used to call myself a wartime hero and a peacetime fuck up. Because if you gave me a month to do something, I would wait until the last minute, not because I didn't want to start it or I was afraid of it. It was because I liked the excitement of the pressure. I could focus better when I had the pressure. The less time I had, the more focused and clear I became. Now, I will tell you that in my adult life as a business owner, I am actually quite good at organizing my time, starting things early, giving myself time to review and revise. And that's all come from a lot of training and also age. I think at almost 47 years old, things start to mellow out a little bit. But in my teens and my 20s, oh man, did I get a total rush out of waiting until the last minute to do something because I could just get clear and focused. And this diagnosis has also helped me see that why I feel emotions big, excitement and frustration, everything. And something else I've started to see is that a lot of the skills that have made me a high performer, like my speed and my creativity, and the creativity is endless, the ideas are endless. It's almost overwhelming sometimes how many ideas I have at one time because I don't know what to act on. But that energy and also my resilience. On the flip side, those are the same traits that cause me to struggle because I'm constantly almost withdrawing energy from those abilities to the point where I'm completely exhausted. I'm pulling on my speed and my ability to be creative and have energy and just rally at any time to the point where I am exhausted. And this happened, like I said, more in my teens, my 20s, and in my 30s. I'm a little more regulated about it now, but I actually know and trust my ability to be creative on the spot and my ability to have energy, even when I don't have it. I can pull that out of nowhere. Yes, sometimes it serves a situation, but also it is to my detriment because the other side of that is complete and total crash. So I'm still learning what all of this means. And this is now going to be a lifetime journey to discover myself through this lens of ADHD. I'm going to seek out some sort of ADHD coach, and I might explore different medications because that's always an option too. But right now, what I'm trying to do is not rush to fix anything. I'm just trying to notice myself more and also communicate with my husband, who is my primary relationship in my life, so that he can understand why I can swing from one side to the other in a matter of seconds. We had a conversation just yesterday. We started out laughing about the dogs. I was taking them to the park. He called me in the car. One of our dogs yelps and gets really, really excited in the car. I think it's anxiety, but also sort of excitement. And so there's just a lot of noise happening in the car. And we were laughing because we just can't seem to figure out how to calm that part of him. And within, I don't know, 30 seconds, we shifted to something about business or something like that. And suddenly I was angry and saying that I had failed about something. Like that pendulum swung so quickly from one side to the other. And there was no convincing me that what I was doing was enough. And even I was perplexed when we hung up the phone, how I went from being so light and airy about what was happening with the dogs and laughing to sinking like a ship. I just sunk. And it kind of put me into a dark place for the rest of the afternoon. I think that some of this has to do with how my brain operates and how it dictates how I feel and interpret situations. Now, I'm not saying it's all the nature. We all have experiences and we have learnings and we have habits that we develop and coping mechanisms and all of those things. It's part nature, part nurture, right? So they all kind of blend together, which makes it kind of hard to pull apart to see what the root cause of things are. But I will tell you that knowing that there is a legitimate ADHD diagnosis is helping me be more compassionate with myself, because if it was prior to this diagnosis that experience from yesterday would have happened, I would have blamed myself for not being able to emotionally regulate. And then I would have felt more shame on top of the feelings I was already feeling. So it just would have been this really unproductive, unloving spiral I could have gone into. And knowing that there is the potential for an emotional impact of a diagnosis like ADHD, I thought it was just about executive function. I didn't know that it was also about your emotions. Knowing that that is part of it and learning what that is like, I'm really excited to learn more about that because I don't know squat. I'm kind of making guesses right now, by the way, just so you're aware. But in the little research that I've done on my own from some different resources, there is an emotional component to this diagnosis. And it's like, oh, okay, I can stop being hard on myself just because he can emotionally regulate and compartmentalize a lot more effectively than I seem to be able to do. I just need to find a different way to do it. So if this resonated with you, I just want to say, great. You're not bad at life. You might just be wired differently. I don't know. And that wiring might hold some gifts than you realized were there. But I just wanted to share it because I know how many listeners, and also I would say all of our clients, are just high achieving hyper performers. And I'm not linking that to ADHD as a blanket statement, but this has opened up the door for me to wonder how much of that is related to maybe what's going on and how their brain is structured. It's just an open question that I'm really interested as a coach and as a trainer and just as a learner in life to explore, both for myself and with my clients. So that's all for now. And listen, I wanted to let you know that I'm going to be taking a break from When Does It Get Good for the months of May and June. I personally need a break coming up with topics and creating the show. And I just want to feel a little refreshed on what kinds of content might be the most valuable for you. So we'll be taking a break for the next 2 months. We'll be back in July. But until then, I send you lots of curiosity, lots of love, and big energy. Take good care of yourself.